Hello everyone, welcome to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena, and this is the Zentangle black and white series wherein we have already drawn 3 tiles, 3 beautiful creations. And today is the fourth session of this series, and this is one of the tiles which we created during the introductory session and created some black patches on this tile. Yeah, today we are going to tangle over this tile. Let's see how do we do that. Let's get started right away. So what I'm going to do today is inside these black patches probably I'm going to introduce some beads. So I'm just going to add some nice pearls inside these black patches. Yeah, kind of connected with each other, glued to each other, that kind of an effect. So I'm just adding a little bit of extra white at those intersections, something like this. And then I'm going to do the same here also. Not really thinking which direction, just drawing randomly. So this was one of the features of the project pack from which this series is inspired, where these bead lines were drawn all across the tile. So I'm adding one more. Slowly, take your time. Yeah. So let's do that inside all. Slowly. These are just orbs. You can call them tipple or you can just call them orbs. I'm just drawing randomly, not really thinking where, how, what. Take your time. Using my Jelly Roll 08. If you want, you can use your boulder nib, the 10. And I think we have one more. Yeah, take your time. Add a little bit of extra ink in the in-between spaces. Like this. Yeah. So I will leave the blacks like this as of now. Let us now move on to the white sections. So I'm now going to introduce a tangle called enzeple or hollybog, whatever you wish to. Let's in fact start with hollybog only. So I'm going to start drawing some lines, adding an extra aura on both sides as I draw the lines. So hollybog has these lines randomly arranged, not really cutting each other, drawing behind, what we call the Hollowborg effect. Now these lines can also be extended further. So we can extend this line also. So just start drawing lines, cutting across from one side to other, but not really intersecting each other. We will draw behind. Take your time. You can draw as many as you wish. Slowly. Just go around and draw as many as you wish. Yeah, so I'm going to now start from here, cut across, go till the end. Yeah, again, wherever you find considerable spaces, insert some more lines. You don't have to fill up the entire area. Of course, there will be spaces in between, but we can try that they are less. Right, so I'm now going to add, I think, from here. Right, again some lines here. So just draw at your own pace, draw as many lines as you wish, but leave some space in between so that we have opportunities to add some more tangles in between. Yeah. So now that I'm done drawing the Hollowborg, I'm going to go to these in between spaces and draw a simple fragment which looks somewhat like Senna. So I've started from an orb, retracing a part of the orb and adding some weight as I end the line. Yeah. So a small orb there instead of a C or an S shape as we start with Senna. And this can be a nice fragment to draw. Retrace a part of the orb. It helps you to land and to take off nicely. And as you retrace, you can see there is some extra ink going there every time, which adds to the look of the fragment. Yeah, so let's do that in some of the bigger spaces that we have. So I'm going to again start in the same fashion. I'm pressing a little hard as I start the line, releasing the pressure as I move towards the end, and then again adding some extra weight at the end, just like a V, and then ink it in. You can do many things inside each of these spaces. Whole lot of tangles that you can add. So go with what you feel like at that point of time. I thought of drawing this fragment. Slowly take your time. Yeah, so that's the second one. Let's do some more of these fragments. Probably I'll do it here. So if you don't want to add fragment, the same thing in all, we will probably go with wells inside some of the other spaces. Yeah, for example, yeah, these are very small spaces, so I'm just going to add an orb, and then you can just add these 3 lines and then add some auras like this, right? So this is the wells grid going to the 3 corners from the orb. Yes, I'll show you again. A circle, right? So again from the line, from the orb, take one line to the each of the corners, and then you can just add further auras. This is also a fragment, but it starts with the wells grid. I'll show you again an orb, retrace the orb and draw curved lines going to each of the corners of the triangle, and then add further curved lines. Like this. Yeah, this is a bigger space, so we can add the fragment once again. So just take your time, slowly pick up each of the spaces that you have in between your hollow block and play with fragments of your choice. I'm just giving you 2 ideas. Yeah, so this is again a small space. I'm going to retrace. So I'm still continuing with the same process. A few more sections left. Somewhere introducing the wells fragment and a few other places, the other fragment, just like Sena. Yeah, so a few left here, so let's finish it. Take your time, slowly. Do that exercise for all the spaces that you have in between spaces. Small ones, big ones. Carefully add auras. And just a few left here, so you can just add simple auras. Some of the spaces. Some parts of the fragment visible. Again, if there is an orb here, so probably auras. I think we are done. Now if you want, inside these holobog also you can add these black patches at some of the places. For example, something like this, and just ink it black. Right, if you want you can also add an aura around it. We shall see if we want to do that. I'm just adding a nice capsule shape, trying to give the effect. This is again an enhancement to give the effect of something related to the blacks that we have. Yeah, so just I'm going to add a couple of them. You take your time, add as many as you wish to. Something like this, wherever you want, big, small. Take your time. I think these would be enough. We don't need to add everywhere. Yeah. So let us now get to shading. As far as holobog is concerned, always a good idea to add shades at all the intersections. Yes. So first let us go to the intersections. Wherever lines seem to be going under, add graphite there. Go to each of the intersections. Add some graphite. Take your time. Yeah, so let's first shade this much and then we will get to shading more. So slowly, this is my white blender. So yeah, make sure you use the blender that you use for graphite. Go to each of the places where you have added graphite. Soften the graphite. Take your time. Slowly blend all without spreading too much. Make sure you have the whites intact. So once we are done with that, now I'm going to go around my black portions and add graphite around it. Like this, and then blur it. Something like this. Yes. So I'm going to go to each, add a thin layer of graphite around the black spots, and then blend it. Slowly, take your time, no hurry. And the last one here. Yeah, so now let's blend. Do not blend too much, you just need a slight aura outside your black holes to give the effect of holes. Yeah, just a slight blend. Not too less, not too much. Yeah, so once you are done with that, now we can touch around these capsules also. So if you want, you can just add probably a slight shadow underneath. Maybe that also helps, since we don't have too much space to shade. Or you can go all around. Right, so just go to each. I think just a few more left, so let us do that also. Right, now as far as these beads are concerned, we can always take our white chalk and shade them a little, provided the chalk works on the surface. Yeah, otherwise what we can do is just add a slight dot, something like this. Yes, so they become black pearls instead. Just a slight highlight there, and they suddenly start to look like black pearls on black surface. Yeah, so that's the fun. So go to each, slowly add a small highlight. Right, and I think this is the last one. Now if you want, you can add some bit of embellishments inside these. For example, slight very fine dots inside to give a kind of mystical feeling. So I'm just holding my jelly roll upright and adding some very fine dots. Yeah, so let's do that for all. It will be fun. Take your time. So I'm done adding my small dots, and I'm now just revisiting the ends of my hollow block, just adding touches of graphite where it is absolutely white. What is already there on your stub is sufficient to do that exercise. You don't really have to add graphite. And just missing one or two spaces here. Right, so I have not really gone into shading these fragments, but those of which where you have the space to add a little graphite, you can do that. The smaller ones you can just skip. The bigger ones you can add some bit of graphite. Yeah, so that's our tile for today. This is how we incorporated our black patches into our tile. Yes, so let's put in our chop, sign and date, your tile, right? I shall see you again with a few more sessions of this series that are left. Yes, till then, have a good time. Bye bye.